So we've been talking about grit, and I want to tell you a story about an Australian sheep herder who grew up on a 2,000-acre farm, and they had 2,000 sheep. And when the storms would roll in, because they didn't have all of the equipment and the motorcycles and horses and things like that to be able to gather the sheep together, this gentleman had to run around the farm to gather the sheep. And sometimes it would take him 2 to 3 days in order to bring all the sheep in. But he knew if he didn't, the sheep would be in harm. So he went about his business looking after the sheep and doing whatever it took. Well, let me tell you a little bit more. Australia hosts annually what they call an ultra marathon. It's 543.7 miles. And it's only run by the world's most elite athletes, usually under 30 years of age. They're highly sponsored by companies like Nike and Adidas. And it takes 5 days to complete the race. Now, most marathons are 26.2 miles. This requires daily running of over 100 miles. Well, back in 1983, one day as they're about to start the race, this gentleman, the sheep herder, comes walking up to the starter's booth and collects his number. And he enters the race. And people are amazed because he's not even dressed like a runner. He's wearing overalls and work boots. That's what he had. That's all he had. But he heard about the race and he figured, you know what? I've gathered sheep together and I've run to do that. I think I can run this race. But to everybody's amazement, as they started the race, he couldn't even run properly. He just sort of shuffled along. And they thought, man, this is not going to be good. We're concerned for his health. Now, here's a little interesting piece as well. Normally, a race like this is run, and the runners train for this. They will run for 18 hours and then rest and sleep for 6. And then run another 18 hours and rest for 6. Here's the crazy part. Nobody told Clifford that that's the strategy that you use to win. So what did Clifford do? He did the only thing he knew how to do, and which he had done in the past with his sheep. He ran and ran non-stop until the task was completed. That meant he ran for 24 hours a day. And even though he was less capable and less talented than the others, he put in a high degree more effort. And that's what we've been talking about with grit. It's about passion and perseverance and resilience, putting in the effort in order to achieve what you want to achieve. And here's why it is called the legend of Clifford Young. Because after 5 days, he not only won the race, because he never stopped, but he set a new course record. And in addition to that, the $10,000 prize that he got for winning, he didn't know there was a prize. He didn't do it for the money. And so he gave all the money away to the other racers that were less advantaged than he was and needed the money more. And so he became endeared to all of Australia. Amazing story, and I hope that that inspires you today. Sometimes we achieve things because we don't know we can't, and because we don't follow the strategies of what everybody else tells us we have to do. And so during this time, dig down deep into what gives you passion and persevere through it. Do what you can. Encourage your teams to do what you can. And leaders are often considered shepherds of a flock of sheep. And our teams are like sheep sometimes. They need a leader, especially when the storms come rolling in. So I encourage you today, leaders, help your teams do the best that they can, not knowing that they can't, just the best they can, even if it's just shuffling along, and be amazed. Watch what everybody will be able to accomplish.